from the Niger Delta, where it states that Niger Delta stakeholders have urged the international oil companies, IOCs, that are operating in the region, that are also selling off their onshore assets and moving offshore. They've told them to clean up the polluted environment before leaving. You know, they made the call during the weekend in Yanagwa, Bayelsa State, at a roundtable that was organized by a group called the Data Fight. And the meeting was to ascertain the level of damage that has been done to the environment and livelihood of the people as a result of the many years of oil and gas exploration and exploitation by the oil companies, who are now moving away from the land to the sea. Now, lamenting their woes, a resident in a particular community with name withheld, they said that they are diversity. Who is going to take responsibility for the liabilities that they are leaving behind? All we are saying is that Shell Petroleum Development Company or Nigeria Ajib Oil Company, who are divesting, should carry out their liabilities of cleaning up the environment and remediation before they divest. Who are they leaving it for? That's what this particular story is talking about. Let's get your thoughts on this one, Chuba.
Very quickly, it's simple and straight. It is, like you just asked, who are they talking about? What do they want from the people? Who should be addressing these issues? Is it a community or a supposed set of people that have been saddled with responsibility in the name of leaders or leadership to be doing this? Now, the federal government and the state government talked about the PIA Act and Bill, and I think that should have captured all of this. Like the people are saying,
captures it.
That's what that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
If it actually captured it, what we're talking about, like I've always continued to shout and join my voices to others who say, it's not about the laws, it's about the implementation. Who's to implement the laws? Who's carrying it out? That's what is important. Whether you like it or yes, I think we have enabling laws. We have enough grafts to be able to guide us as a people. But obviously, we have got the wrongest of people manning and saddled the responsibility of managing these assets. Whether we like it or yes, for the past 10, let me say 1 decade, say 10 years, the NNPC has been moribund. Whether we like it or do not like it, we have not, the 3 refineries, or permit me to say 4, are all not functional. We have had a series of governments say this is what it is, this is what it is, and it are yet to be functional. And have you asked yourself, why has nobody in the echelon of these of these parastatals not been fired or arranged on a serious matter? All that is keeping it down is corruption. There is little or no excuse. There are countries who have older refineries, lesser technologies. Ask yourself, which country in the world arrogates to herself an entire 100% ownership of a national asset of that magnitude? No nation of the world. Look at the Brazil, I've forgotten what they call it in Brazil. Is it Venezuela? Look at the countries, Brazil and Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and all of these Arab nations. Ask yourself, the government has a percentage. Why is NLNG working in Nigeria? NLNG is only working in Nigeria because the government has a percentage. Multinationals have their percentage. Private individuals have their percentage. Therefore, they must ensure that it works. Corruption for one person, because we are funding this by our budgeting. People are just there doing what they like. So, whether you like it or not, Fela sang a song, it's a party government. And until we stop the party thing, the people are the ones to bear the brunt. It is a pity that the Niger Delta region, where we come from, I've got men that make a lot of noises, but have little or no clout, memory-wise and capacity-wise to galvanize. I mean, all fairness.
Because when you talk about we not having the right people in the leadership, and that's why the things that are happening,
yeah.
Or probably the right people to enforce the laws that we already have on ground. Now, this has been going on for years now.
Yeah.
It was not just one administration. It was one administration after another, after another, after another. Does it mean we never get it right in our leadership?
You have said it all. If we had ever gotten it right, we would have seen the trajectory. And I can make both to say, as a Niger Deltan, as a sincere, true Nigerian, the only time we were seemingly looking like getting it rightly, was when we first and foremost entered into democracy. There was a lot of corruption. there was a lot of disconnect, but whether you like it or not, there were conscious structuring to see to it that we're going somewhere. However, the loopholes are evident. We cannot argue. The shortcomings are alarming. It is not something that we can pretend about. But whether we like it or not, there was a system we could flow with. And
So
when the
what
Yar'Adua administration came into play, listen, what changed is the fact that Nigerians are too gullible. When I mean gullible, we are too gullible. And a lot of us have been, our mental state has been fractured somewhere, believing that look, Nigerians are the easiest people to tell a lie. And when you tell them a lie, when they now realize it's true, they just move on because why? They have been put in a place where they feel they are completely helpless. Let's call a spade a spade. The Niger Delta region, when you talk about the South-South, it was an afterthought. There was no South-South in the formation of this country. Now, because it's an afterthought, one would have expected that the people that are emanating or rising up from here should have all brought their voices together. Listen, what makes a community or a town more organized is because it is applying modern processes. When you see where people have gone to, urban and regional planning, the team of the government have gone to map out, you see that that kind of estate or those kind of communities have the proper link roads. People don't, you understand me? People don't build on top of canals. There are things that are structured. One would have expected that the Niger Delta, having taken this long to surface and make a statement and be considered a region in Nigeria, would have expected that we had leaders, or we should have leaders that should, in that manner, think of the region very sincerely.
So you're talking about the Niger Delta leaders now, not
the
just
Niger Delta
leaders.
They are a fraction of the national leaders. Whether we like it or yes, what I'm trying to tell you is this: we have failed. Leadership in Nigeria has failed us to the highest level. Ask yourself. For the past decade now, we've been hearing judgments from the Supreme Court of Nigeria, almost all based on technicalities, that whether you like it or not, the common Nigerian, the actual people that are called Nigerian, the sincerity of consciences cannot, in all sincerity, applaud or understand what judgments are. Now we have made judgment and law become a scientific process where it is not like the YDX or it is not like microchromosomes and all. Nobody can, when you didn't go to class, when you didn't go to study those things, anytime someone is saying such things, you cannot comprehend. Now law and English has become something spiritual in Nigeria because we cannot even comprehend how with the correlation of things that happen. Then we are in a country where everything just goes. Is it the people of the region that should come outside of the community?
Are the people of the region really enjoying what is going on right now? Because if you say the people of the region speaking up, they have spoken up on different occasions, but we've still heard cases of these monies that they've been asking and clamoring for being brought to the communities and then it being siphoned.
I want to ask you, don't be offended.
So what is going on with the people?
It is your duty to ask
community?
me questions. Now I want to put something straight.
Okay.
The communities, ask yourself, which can the federal government come out to realize? I said something to you. It's about leadership.
What about the people?
Listen, the people have clamored. They have cried out. They have made their points very clear. What then is the leadership doing?
The corruption
is the
leadership you're talking about, is it just in the leadership or also with the people?
Listen.
Because I just gave you an instance now of some of the cases that we've been hearing. Even the people themselves siphoning funds that are actually meant sometimes for the social amenities and all of that.
I want to just put something straight. Are you a part of the people?
Are we not a part of
Are you a part of the people?
Are we not a part of the people?
I'm just asking you.
You know you can ask questions,
okay, no,
right?
I'm sorry.
You have to answer the
Thank you
questions
for thank you for observing your office. Now, if you and I are part of the people, have you heard that Chuba has been giving money or any has been giving money and just phone? What we're talking about is we have a flawed structure of leadership where leadership cascades down and nobody takes responsibility. At the end of the day, we want to use the phrase people, community. These things don't bear names. There is no person that bears community. There's no person that bears people. What we are talking about is somebody is saddled with the responsibility of sitting in an office called Mr. President. Somebody is saddled with the responsibility of sitting in an office called the senator representing a constituency. Same as a governor, a local government chairman, and a community head. And when issues of this nature are called upon, such people should be able to rise up because they are being paid with taxpayers' money. What you want to arrogate is say the people so that to become an humongous monster that nobody can articulate to say this is what it is. What I'm telling you now and straight is simple. If we have leadership, ask yourself. The journalist asked the Kenyan president. He said at some point in time, you talk about how the West or the other nations are trying to exploit Kenya. What are you talking about? Some years ago, you evaded tax. He said that was 15 years ago. I was a young man. And I've moved on from there. Go and check my records. Listen, until we have people who can reference their records.
How much are we even holding our leaders responsible for their actions?
How do you hold your leaders responsible for their actions? When people vote, and at the end of the day, the people vote and they do not want to go into violence because this is what they think they are voted for. And we now follow the system that law has stated or placed on ground for us to follow, which is the legal process. And in the course of the legal process, from the beginning to the end, it's not a charade. At the end of the day, the people have already told. They are almost a conquered people. We pray that we do not get to that place. I keep telling people, and on this station I will always say, there's what in physics is called elastic limit. The leaders will continue to do what they are doing. But what we should understand that, look, there are things, every man has a day to be born and a day they will die. So there's an elastic limit to life. It might not be my generation or your generation, but trust me, there's a time frame where the people can manage enough. There gets to a point where the people can't bear anymore. And when they do not can't bear anymore, just imagine what's going to happen. And we don't want to get there as a nation. So the leaders, listen, whenever we have the opportunity to say these things, the leaders should sit up. They should stop deluding themselves with occultism, with power, with government, with security agencies, with guns and all. They should stop deluding themselves. They have seen it in some other climes, very close around Nigeria. All around us, we have seen it happen. So whether we accept it or not, the earlier we take responsibility as though we have been saddled with one, the better for us. Okay. I think for the people of the South and the Niger Delta region and the communities that have come out to decry what they have decried, but it is not something we can overflow. It's what it is.
You have said that the leaders should sit up. That's been your recommendation. But the degradation in the Niger Delta has been on for so long. And it has gotten to a point that I know that a lot of people have left their communities because it's no longer a place where people can actually stay. And we've also heard that imagine them not having the basic amenities now. So when we say the leaders should sit up, what are we pointing at? What exactly are we asking them to do regarding this particular topic now, the degradation in the Niger Delta?
We're asking the leaders to give the IOCs the right memos, the right direction, the right push. Listen, you cannot just start selling off your assets to some other people who is going to bear the brunt of the liabilities laid on ground. The environmental degradation, what is going to happen to it? And they say he that comes for justice must come with what? Equity. You now ask yourself, what is, excuse me, what is happening to the Ogoni cleanup? The federal government, what's it called? How much has been expended into that? How well has it been carried out? And who is asking the right questions and who is giving us the right answers? Is the people of the Ogoni people per se feeling the effect of a cleanup? And if they aren't, who are those saddled the responsibility of ensuring that this cleanup is carried out? And if they are not, what are the punishments and what are the measures that those who sit in the offices or places of power that has the capacity to to ask the questions, what are the questions being asked and what are the actions being taken? Listen, we can keep playing around like we are doing now as a people, as a country. Everything is uhuru for us right now, but it will not take long. We have seen it happen in many places. When a man fails to take responsibility of his family, the result shows in the kids. It's just a question of time.
I mean, the kids keeping quiet.
The truth is, the kids will
the man will continue doing what he's doing.
Now, at this point in time, when we talk about the kids and the man, it's very simple and straight. The quietness we are having now is the smartness or the, I don't applaud them. It's the cunningness of the politicians. The political class have been cunning enough, dividing us by religion sentiments, regional sentiments, and all. But the hunger is real and it's universal. But it gets to a point, the hunger will become a sincerely unifying factor. The pain, the environmental degradation will become, it will traverse the length and breadth. And at some point, all these charms, all these enchantments, all these cunningness, all these sweet talks from government and its stakeholders or executives would hold no water. And whether we like it or not, when that day comes,
look at the times or the stories that we've heard about IOCs giving scholarships or even job opportunities to some of these communities, and then at the end of the day you see some names being sneaked into that particular list. So when you talk about sincerity, we should look at sincerity in the leadership. We should also look at sincerity amongst ourselves. Even if we decide to speak up, do we even have that unity in our voice? Are we speaking with one voice, or are we speaking with so many voices?